everyone, Jill here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Cherry on Top YouTube hop. This one is for July and our focus is die cuts. So let's jump right in. Before I get to the die cuts, I'll just say a little bit about what I'm using for my background paper, which is a textured craft-like paper from this new line that I'm really enjoying from Simple Stories called Simple Vintage Essentials. It's one of the 12 by 12 papers. So I'll be using a little bit from this, and I'm also really liking Simple Stories, the little things. And so I pulled some stickers and so forth to go along with my die cuts and photos. And this is just going to be a simple flower themed page. I went ahead and stitched like 3 elements. I kind of want to work in 3 clusters, I think. I might do some of the final embellishing a bit later off screen because I want to keep the focus for now on the die cuts. But this is from a cut apart sheet from the Little Things by Simple Stories, and it just says Live Life in Full Bloom, which seemed like a great title given what I'm going to do with the page. This is also from the Little Things, and it's some camera paper with little flowers interspersed with the cameras, which is just great because this is about 2 photos that I took when I took actually mini photos when Tim and I were at Buter Park near where he lives, and I just couldn't believe how beautiful the park was. It was planted with so many different gorgeous flowers, and it was just a perfect evening, and we'd had a really good time together, and so I know all of that will be brought back with this layout. So I just picked a couple photos with the vibrant yellow daylilies and vibrant coneflowers in a kind of purplish pink, and I work with different pinks on this page, as you'll see. Okay, so the die cuts that I decided to use, as you'll see, this is one, and this is an older one by Tim Holtz that just is kind of like a textured mixed media, I think is the set. It might still be available, but at any rate, I decided I wanted some yellow, but I also wanted to work with the die cut theme. So I made just a little bit of like a kind of block off to the side to build my flower die cuts on with this lattice work, which I think is really cool because I'm happy with this craft background and how colors pop off of it and white pops off of it. I meant to grab some like little white hearts or something, which is probably what I'll use for the final embellishment. I really like the look of white against the craft. Okay, so that's one die cut. The other die cut, I'll talk about this little butterfly first before we go into the flowers. This is a Tim Holtz die, and it has just some simple layering. I personally don't go for the die cuts that involve lots of intricacy, but this was not too bad, especially like after I got over doing it the first time. I think it then becomes easier. It just creates, these extra pieces just create a little bit of shading, sort of, if you use, that's the way I did it, with a pink and then a darker pink, and then I used a black and white paper for the body of the butterfly. And I intend to put that, I might just start gluing things down, get my washi off to the side so there's not a shadow. I intend to put that up here, and it'll just be part of a cluster. I also have some other ideas for that part of the page. So right on top of the stitching, we can always move things around a bit, but I've got a little bit of adhesive on. There, that's like, it just shows you how cool and versatile die cuts are. Really like the way that looks. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere my photos. Put them like just overlapping this block a little bit to kind of just keep it all together and to save a little space. Not sure how straight I'm getting anything here, but that's okay. The photos are slightly different sizes, but once I get the layers in, that won't really be that noticeable. Okay, and okay, so that's, I was thinking I was gonna have that over a bit, but I think this will still work. I wanted to include a couple of die cuts off to this side. And since these are photos of flowers, not people's faces or anything, I don't really mind if they overlap. Yeah. So let me say a little bit about the die cuts. These are Tim Holtz stems, I think they're called, wildflower stems, and there have been several sets. I have like 3 or 4 of them, and I just pulled from the sets. I'm not sure if these are all from one set or from different sets. I think they're from different sets. And so those are pinks and yellows, which makes sense with the flowers that I've taken photos of. I wanted this kind of a little bit more purplish pink. I think this is Vicki Boutin paper with a little bit of purple in it, just because there's this purplish color in the cone flowers. I wanted one stem to be completely green to pick up the greens in the foliage, and then this pink is the same pink of the butterfly, so I thought that would be good to kind of pull it back over to this side. I know I want it on this side. So let me think about like what I do know for sure. And as I said, I might build some embellishment around this area. And now that I've got a little bit of room over here, because I think I didn't intend to put this so far this way. Anyway, for die cuts, I just did apply a little bit of rolling adhesive, which I believe I'm kind of doing off camera. But just to apply it, they're so lightweight, they don't really take much adhesive. There, I'm gonna pop that down. Yeah, see how good that looks like against the craft. That's why I started with a different background, but I wanted a little less subtlety than something that would kind of compete, and they would dissolve into the background, which I think is a perfectly fine look too. But I wanted to go with something a little bit with a little more contrast. And craft is great for that. If you're using colors, it's like almost every color looks good against a brown craft background, if you like that aesthetic. I haven't used it in a while in my album, but I do really like it and have used it a lot in the past. Okay, all of these might need a little more adhesive. I'm just gonna see. Yeah, I'm thinking, I pulled out some washi tape. I'm thinking of adhering or putting a little washi tape on the stems. We'll do that in a minute. So I knew I wanted kind of those over there. Let me go with these and see. I think maybe pushing the yellow off toward the craft would be good, and it's a little farther away from where I've got more yellow. This is so pretty. I love these little wildflower stems because they're simple, but the die cuts, I don't know, very satisfying to use. And this kind of set you can use in so many different ways. I like the kind that are really versatile. I have a few that are a little bit more themed, and those are like, I just don't use those as much. Something to consider when you're building your die cut collection. I was going to bring up my bins. I actually like organized my die cuts this summer, organizing a few things with a lot more left to be organized. We'll put it that way. Okay, see what I want. This is kind of an interesting picture with the sidewalk like this anyway. So I might just put this so that it comes down on the white. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I can always trim off the edge. As you can see, there's some threads here and such to trim off too. Okay. Let me just pop these two down. Think about, I kind of like the purple and the green together. Another thing I like to do with die cuts, and I consider doing for this video, but I believe I've done it in other videos. I know I've done it in the past. And that is put washi tape down on a piece of white cardstock and then cut that out as instead of paper. And that's a lot of fun and a great way to use up different kinds of washis and find ways to combine them. And it depends on the die cut, of course, but these like longer ones are great for that. Okay. Trying to think how I might want to overlap a little bit here. Yeah, you just have to kind of play around and see. I'm already getting a little discombobulated here. There. There. So that's one way of using die cuts, is to kind of cluster them together in a page about summer, a page in this case about flowers directly, or just, you know, for a you know, a page about other aspects of nature. I just think they're really versatile, and they would create a really different mood depending on the colors that you cut them from, the papers. These are all patterned papers, with the exception of a couple things that I just used, like plain pink and plain green cardstock, as you can probably see. So there are the die cuts. It's really starting to come together. I'm going to do a little bit of the embellishing with you, and then probably, as I said, put the, like, I also have some little sequins that I'm going to sprinkle around. Some of those final touches I might do off camera. I think before I put down these stickers, I'm going to go ahead and work with this washi tape a little bit. These are from the Simple Stories Essentials, Vintage Essentials line. These are also essentials in the plain dot, and those come in all sorts of colors. This is just the basic set. And I like the brown and the white, given what I have going on here. But this is a black with a bit of text on it, which I thought would look kind of funky and interesting. And then to contrast that, I have the tape that has white with black text on it. So that's a little bit like almost newspaper-like. Show you how, the reason I pulled the white, which I just thought would be a great tape to stamp on too. That's something I've been enjoying doing lately, as you know from, I think, my last video, is stamping on washi tape. But there, it's kind of a big piece. Nice thing about washi is you can just keep ripping it. But there, that gives you a little idea of how the white looks against the craft, which I really like. And, you know, you can double up if you want to on, you know, more than one piece, like a couple little slim slices. But I just wanted to put a few down in a preliminary way to give you an idea of how that looks. It's just I think, a cool look. Let me grab just a tiny little piece. Now, as I embellish, there are some stickers that I thought were really good from the Little Things collection, because I want to emphasize the taking pictures part. And I haven't done the journaling, but I'll probably say a little bit about how much fun it was just to walk around and see the flowers and take pictures of them. So I knew I wanted to create a cluster up here, and you can see the camera looks pretty cool with the butterfly, because it just fits like right in that little area there. And then especially, you know, if you continue to build around there. I also like this bee. Now the reason is, of course, bees are on flowers, but the other reason is it brings in a really nice pop of a dark green. So I knew I wanted that kind of on that side. Then I'll probably build some little sequins and little embellishments up here. I'm not sure about this border, but the Little Things has a actual flower border that I thought might work well with the cameras and bring a little frilliness to the bottom of the page. Don't necessarily want to completely cover this stitching, but I like layering like this. So yeah, so there we go. It's kind of cool because it's white again. It's a contrast with the craft, and it's floral, so it emphasizes the theme. And so working in these three areas that we saw from the beginning, because there's a camera here, I thought I would find a way to include a camera over here. I might put it going just a little bit off the layout. Give it a little trim. Okay, so you can see how the stickers are kind of working in these three. And this is an idea that I like. I think I took it from Shamil Lane, and that is to like pull your stickers from the sticker book and put them out there so you're not going back and forth in the stickers. There are phrase stickers in here that I know I want to use because I want to work a little bit with the idea of having fun together and So there's So Happy Together. In fact, why don't I go ahead and pull this and see how I might want to use it. And there's an ampersand and hearts. And I like the way that it introduces this black and kind of grounds the layout here at the bottom. So I do think I'm going to put that right on top. See if that eats into the camera a little bit too much. So I'm going to move it over. I'm not sure if I want it above or below. Maybe below the flowers. And I don't have to worry about interfering with the camera image. There we go. Okay, I think I'm going to call this good for the hop video, and it really gives you an idea of the die cuts and how they can be used, and how they can be combined and layered, and just the interest they add to a page, and the fun you have using them. And it's a tool that you can use again and again. Great. Leave any questions you might have in the comments, and be sure to hop along to the other videos and see other ways of using die cuts. Thanks for stopping by.